Welcome back to the English Journey podcast. Let me ask you something real. Do you study English every day, but when it's time to speak, nothing comes out the way you want? You watch videos, you learn new words, you maybe even do some grammar, but your speaking still feels stuck. So, the question is your daily English routine actually helping your speaking or just keeping you busy? In today's episode, we're going to talk about a daily English routine that really works. Not a perfect routine, not a complicated routine, a realistic one you can follow even if you're busy, tired, or learning alone. And before we go deeper, if you have a question about your English, your routine, or your speaking problems, leave it in the comments. I read them, and your question might become the next episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the English Journey podcast if you want to improve your English step by step, without stress, without confusion, and without wasting time. First, the real goal of a daily English routine, because this is where most people get confused. The goal of a daily English routine is not knowing English, it's speaking English. A lot of learners know grammar rules, vocabulary lists, even complex structures. They can explain English, but they can't use it. And that's because knowing something and using something are two very different skills. English is not math. It's not history. It's a skill, like driving or playing a sport. You don't become good at it by understanding it. You become good at it by doing it. And this brings us to the second point, training the brain to respond automatically. When you speak and you translate in your head, your brain is working too slowly. That's why you pause. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you lose confidence in the middle of a sentence. A good daily routine trains your brain to react without asking permission from your first language. Not perfectly, not fast at first, but automatically. This only happens with daily exposure, not once a week, not when you feel motivated, daily. Because the brain learns patterns through repetition, not explanations. Now let's talk about confidence. Most people think confidence comes from speaking perfectly. It doesn't. Confidence comes from speaking often. Making mistakes is not a problem. Avoiding speaking is. Every time you speak, even badly, your confidence grows a little. Every time you stay silent, fear grows instead. A daily routine is not about sounding like a native speaker. It's about showing up every day and using English, even when it feels uncomfortable. And this is why fluency is not a talent. People love to say some people are just good at languages, but that's not the full truth. What we call talent is usually just habit. Fluent speakers are people who use English regularly, naturally, and without overthinking. They didn't wait to feel ready. They made English part of their daily life. Fluency is what happens when English becomes something you do, not something you study. And once you understand this, your daily routine stops being stressful and starts being effective.
Second, speaking every day, even if it's bad. Now let's talk about the part most people avoid, speaking. Because deep down, a lot of learners believe they should wait. Wait until they know more words, wait until their grammar is better, wait until they feel confident. But here's the truth. Confidence comes after speaking, not before it. If you don't speak every day, your English stays passive. It stays in your head. And English that stays in your head will never come out naturally when you need it. Speaking is not something you prepare for. It's something you train. And yes, in the beginning, it will be bad. Your sentences will be simple. You will pause. You will make mistakes. That's not failure. That's practice. Think about it this way. You don't go to the gym and expect perfect results on day one. You train. Your muscles feel weak, and slowly they get stronger. Speaking English works the same way. Your speaking muscles only grow when you use them. And here's something important. You don't need a partner to speak. You can speak alone, in your room, on your phone, in the shower, wherever you are. Speaking alone removes pressure, removes fear, and gives you freedom to try. You can describe your day, explain what you just listened to, or talk about your plans. The topic doesn't matter. The habit does. Even 5 minutes a day is powerful as long as you do it every day. And if you want to make this even stronger, record yourself. Not to judge yourself, not to criticize your accent, just to track progress. When you listen again after a few weeks, you'll hear the difference. That's motivating. So don't wait to be good to start speaking. Start speaking to become good. Bad English spoken daily will always beat perfect English that stays silent.
Third, thinking in English during the day. Now let's talk about something that changes everything, but almost nobody practices it seriously: thinking in English during the day. Most learners only use English when they sit down to study, and the rest of the day their brain goes back to their first language. Then they wonder why speaking feels slow and unnatural. The truth is simple. If your brain doesn't live in English during the day, it won't respond in English when you need it. And this doesn't mean thinking about complicated topics. It starts with talking to yourself in English. When you're alone, there is no pressure, no judgment, no fear. That makes it the perfect moment to train your brain. You can talk about what you're doing, what you're thinking, or what you plan to do next. Simple sentences are enough. The goal is not to sound smart, it's to stay in English. And this leads to the next step, describing actions and thoughts. When you're making coffee, walking outside, or working, describe it in your head. I'm opening my laptop. I need to finish this today. I'm tired, but I'll do it anyway. These small sentences might feel useless, but they are powerful. They create a direct connection between your thoughts and English without translation. Now let's talk about reacting to daily situations. Something good happens, react in English. Something annoying happens, react in English. Someone says something interesting, respond in your head in English. This trains real-life language, not textbook English, the kind of English you actually need when speaking. And finally, this is how you break the translation habit. You don't break it by forcing yourself, you break it by replacing it. Every time you choose to think directly in English, even for a few seconds, your brain learns that English doesn't need permission from your first language. At first, it will feel slow, then it will feel normal, and one day you'll notice something important. English answers will come to your mind without effort. That's when speaking starts to feel natural. Fourth, common mistakes to avoid. Before we finish, let's talk about something really important: the mistakes that slow your progress. Most learners think improving English is only about studying more, but it's not. Sometimes the problem isn't what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. Mistake number 1, waiting until you're ready. Many people wait until they feel confident to speak, or until they think their vocabulary is enough. The truth? You never feel ready. Speaking only starts when you start speaking, not when you're perfect. Waiting just delays your progress. Mistake number 2, focusing too much on grammar. Grammar is important, yes, but if you spend 80% of your time learning rules and only 20% speaking, your English will stay stuck in your head. Real improvement comes from using grammar naturally, not memorizing rules. Mistake number 3, changing methods too often. If you jump from app to app, video to video, or teacher to teacher every week, nothing sticks. Fluency comes from consistent daily practice, not trying every method once. Stick to a method long enough to see results. Mistake number 4, comparing yourself to others. This is one of the biggest traps. Social media makes everyone look fluent and confident, but everyone starts somewhere. Comparing yourself to others will only kill your motivation. Focus on your progress, even if it feels small. Mistake number 5, studying without using. Reading, listening, writing, all are good, but without speaking and thinking in English, it's useless. English is a skill. If you don't use it, you don't improve. Avoiding these mistakes makes your daily routine much more effective. Remember, Small, consistent, realistic steps beat perfect plans that never start. Finally, how long it takes to see results. Realistic expectations. Now, let's be real. One of the biggest questions I get is, how long will it take before I see progress? The truth is, it depends. But I want to give you realistic expectations so you don't get frustrated. First, don't expect miracles overnight. English is a skill, not magic. If you study and speak consistently every day, you'll start noticing small changes in just a few weeks. Maybe your sentences come out faster. Maybe you pause less. Maybe you start thinking in English without translating as much. After 1 to 3 months of consistent practice, these small changes begin to build on each other. Your speaking starts to feel smoother, your confidence grows, and you begin noticing patterns automatically. And after 6 months or more, your fluency starts to show clearly. People might tell you, wow, your English is much better. And the best part, you'll feel it yourself. You'll notice fewer mental pauses, less hesitation, and a stronger ability to express ideas naturally. Here's the key. Progress isn't linear. Some days will feel amazing. Some days will feel slow. That's normal. The important thing is consistency, not perfection. Even short daily practice done every day adds up faster than long, irregular sessions. So don't get discouraged. Trust the process. English fluency isn't about talent or magic. It's about habit, repetition, and persistence. All right, that's it for today's episode on how to build a daily English routine that actually improves your speaking. Let's recap quickly. The real goal of a daily English routine. Speak every day, even if it feels bad. Think in English during your daily life. Avoid the common mistakes that slow progress. How long it takes to see results, realistic expectations. Here's the most important point. English fluency is a skill, not a talent. If you practice a little every day, you will see results. You just need patience, persistence, and a routine that actually trains your speaking. Now, I want to hear from you. If you have a question about your English, your routine, or your speaking struggles, leave it in the comments. I read them, and your question could even inspire the next episode. And if this episode helped you, don't forget to subscribe to the English Journey podcast. That way, you won't miss tips, routines, and strategies that actually improve your English step by step. Remember, the journey might be long, but every small step counts. Keep speaking, keep thinking in English, and keep going. Your progress is coming, one day at a time. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.